Welcome, everybody, to a brand new podcast all about toxic waste storage, handling, and security.
Also known as my basement.
No, this took place in a lab, was the purpose for this actual podcast because there was a story, a real life story of a person who lost their toxic waste. And it actually made its way into the sewer where some unsuspecting turtles actually got in it and it morphed them and they grew into large ones with huge muscles and so thick of skin they were actually bulletproof. And that's actually not the problem, because they were lucky that they had a rat that also got exposed to that toxic ooze who raised them correctly. But the problem is, and the reason why we have to have a safety podcast on it, was because that toxic ooze waste also got onto some other creatures that were raised by bad people and ended up wreaking havoc on society. One was named Bebop, the other was Rocksteady, and they were complete menaces. So there's a safety alert. We got to keep it stored so we don't create these monsters that, I mean, do I need to go further? Look at Godzilla.
You know what we need to do?
That wrecked an entire city. I think it was Tokyo.
We need to take you back to like relearning where the turtles came from. You're in there. You're ballparking.
Where did I go wrong?
Oh, Bebop and Rocksteady, man?
Yeah.
They were just like random poorly raised pets.
No, but then they get exposed to toxic ooze. Same as the turtles?
Well, yeah, they did.
Yeah, and then they weren't raised by Master Splinter, right? They must have been raised by Shredder or something.
Well, it depends on which story
Which
arc
version?
you're in.
Yeah.
But in one, they're just like regular dudes who get exposed.
Okay.
Like
And
in
somehow
another
turn
one-
into animal hybrids?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the ooze was doing stuff.
Okay.
So it was up to all sorts of shenanigans.
But the safety moral of the story stands. If the toxic waste is controlled and stored correctly and secured,
Then we should be good.
we can't have these issues.
We shouldn't have an issue.
Okay, good.
I mean, that's the goal.
All
Like,
right.
That's the driving point.
So are we good on that show premise?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I think we should switch back to the old one.
What was the old one?
We are the evil safety dudes. Still
Yeah,
talking about
I
safety,
suppose.
but it's all things safety, OSHA, security,
I don't
all
know.
of that stuff.
I'm down for doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I am joined in the IBC podcast force by my co-host, Mr. AJ Hanscom, and he is a safety professional.
I am a safety professional. I'm also joined in the IBC podcast fort studio playground with Mr. Aaron Iacino, who is a specialist in safety and health. You are SSH.
And I said safety professionals today because that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Today's show is on skills needed for all safety professionals.
Yeah.
When you're paid to do safety, when you're responsible for safety, when someone's like, you're the safety person for this company, you're in charge of making sure everything's safe, there's certain skills you need to have.
Yeah, please don't let people die.
And,
great.
you know, I didn't have anybody to teach me this.
Well, I already automatically know step one is listen to the Evil Safety Dudes podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Step
definitely.
one.
But there was none when I was becoming an evil safety dude. When I was a baby evil safety dude.
Yeah.
When I was just kind of rude safety guy, a little arrogant safety guy, it wasn't straight up evil yet.
Not quite evil yet.
I had no one to turn to and to lean on, and I bumped my head, made a lot of mistakes, and so we
Yeah.
put together some skills. Like if you're just new into safety, or you don't really feel like you're got a strong foothold in it yet,
Yeah.
let's look at the skills list, and it could give you a direction to go to.
Yeah, so get out your pen and paper, get a cup of coffee. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you today.
All right, but before we do that, what's been new with you, Mr. AJ?
I'm like the most boring life. Like I work, I lift, and then I paint, and then I sleep. Like that's about it.
It sounds like a good life to me.
I've been loving it. Like I guess I do. Recently, there has been a mole terrorizing my backyard.
My dog killed one
Oh,
recently.
it's driving my wife nuts.
I was
'cause he
proud.
is all over the place. Yeah, dude, that's
You
good
gonna
dog.
try the cayenne pepper thing?
No,
Why not?
I don't know what it is.
You just buy a biggest thing of cayenne pepper you could buy from Sam's Club. It's not
Okay.
that much, $3. It's a pretty big,
There's a huge
Bottle.
thing of cayenne pepper.
and you just put it all over the ground where the moles are, and they don't want that. They're not.
They don't want to chew that up.
They
That'd be
can't
horrible.
handle the spice.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Now I'm not vouching for it. I'm waiting. I heard about it. I'm waiting for somebody to try it.
Well, dude, I don't know if all the moles in the neighborhood have just decided that my yard is like gonna become Swiss cheese.
We need
or
to
what, but
weaponize it. Weaponize your yard with cayenne pepper.
cayenne pepper. Well, yeah, because it's got to be super irritating. You imagine just crawling face first into a bunch of cayenne pepper.
That would
like,
suck.
Heck no. Like as a human being, we don't even have senses like comparable.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna
Nah.
try it.
So for me, like I already was like poison's right out. Like every
Okay.
single one of my neighbors has got dogs, and there's a
Right.
couple cats that hang out in the neighborhood. There's no way I'm gonna poison this poor thing, and then one day it'll roll over dead,
right.
and then some dog will pick it up or some cat will take it home. Like I couldn't do that to somebody.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I've been trying to trap it. Nothing
Right.
so far. Well, my trap's been
Yeah.
out for less than a day.
I've been
so-
trying to trap things too. I have not been successful.
So I mean, we'll see. Who knows?
Do you
Maybe-
trap moles though?
It's not a live trap.
Okay.
Like I think they do
Is it
have
above
a,
ground?
Yeah, it's the little death spikes that shoot into the ground if they crawl underneath it.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, cool. And you haven't got them yet, huh?
Well, I put it out yesterday.
Okay, so maybe next episode you could give.
Yeah,
a
maybe the
report
next
on
one I'll
it.
be like, got him.
a product
Yeah.
review by AJ.
Or I'm gonna be like, my yard is so spicy right now. Well, that's basically all I've been doing, lifting and being angry at a mole. How about you? Anything going on in the world of Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, this week we got some special things going on at the gym. We got a judo seminar, we got a Muay Thai seminar. So, looking forward to both those. Real masters in their field.
Now, what if those masters fought each other?
It would be cool. That would be awesome.
That's what. Yeah, that's all.
They're
I
both like
thought.
really old now and stuff, but
But they're both like
yeah, it would
the
be
kind of person you
it
wanna
would
learn.
be like how the UFC was trying to be in the beginning, master against
Oh, way back,
master,
like
to see which
UFC
style is
1.
the best,
Yeah.
straight out of movies. Master versus master.
I was trying to do like a little UFC research over the weekend, and I googled boxing. When boxers transition into MMA, and man, I couldn't believe how much there was just straight up smack talk. People be like, "Oh, boxers are so much better than any MMA fighter." Then people be like, "Oh, boxers can't MMA fight." And I was like, "Why don't you just like pull up an MMA fight like of actual professional boxers fighting in like UFC?" Like,
They usually don't. I mean, there's a few people that have fought a couple pro fights as a boxer who
Yeah.
transitioned MMA, but they're an MMA fighter now. You got to know how to punch and block punches, but it's only like 1/8 of what you need.
well, yeah,
So it's kind of, they don't do it. They won't play. They won't play with the MMA fighters. It's
Well,
not their specialty.
right.
It's
It's because you're asking them to do a bunch of extra stuff.
yeah, that they haven't trained in. So,
Right.
but
Well-
the guys that are excellent boxers that learn all the other stuff, then they're a force to be reckoned with. If they got
Yeah,
good boxing skills plus the other. But
that's what I was thinking.
all right, cool. Well, let's get into today's topic. So,
We're going to talk about becoming a safety professional.
yeah, skills you need.
Good place to start, add on to.
Let's talk about knowledge. What do you think a safety professional needs for knowledge?
I honestly think if you're going to be right now a safety professional, you need a good baseline of the current rules and regs. Like you need a
Of
good
whose
baseline
rules and regs?
of your company's rules and
Okay,
regs.
I agree with that 100% because that's like baseline for you.
Yes.
Like
Like that's where
you
you
can
are.
know OSHA's rules down pat,
Yeah, you can be
but
great.
your company rules could be so far above that,
Mm-hmm.
and you are enforcing OSHA and you're not enforcing your company rules, you can get in trouble.
Right.
Aaron, our rule is to be tied off at all times. You
Right.
told those guys they didn't need fall protection on the scaffold because they weren't 10 feet up.
Right.
But that's what the OSHA rule says, boss. I don't care about what the OSHA rule
Right.
says.
We
You
got to
know.
do what our rules say.
Yeah, so I would get your company's health and safety plan policy.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
just
if you
did a
can.
show on plan, program.
We bring it up every single time. Here's where it starts to become already intimidating. You've just been hired as a safety guy, or promoted to safety, or
Or a
shoehorned
safety
into
lady.
safety. Oh yeah, yeah. Be the safety person. So you're the safety person now, and you go, okay. Well, HR person who has all of our documentation, everything.
Right.
I need all of our safety policies, programs, everything. And they're like, shrug.
Yeah. So I hope you have them, but let's pretend that they had them.
Let's pretend they had them.
Let's pretend they actually had safety policies.
The
safety
good news
rules.
is if they don't, then you just get to use baseline OSHA regs.
Yeah, for sure. But you definitely need company rule knowledge. So we're going to assume they not only had them, but they're updated and accurate. Because there's plenty of companies that have them.
Yeah.
And they're hardcore. They're adjusted often.
Yeah.
They're to the nth degree. There's
Okay.
plenty of companies out there with that. So we're going to pretend that is your company is like that. And so, yeah, you better get those down.
Yeah, get your company policies and get them figured out.
There's this one company here locally. It's a plant. They make you separate your oxygen and acetylene bottles when not used 25 feet.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's a little further than
Yeah, the
OSHA
OSHA
reg.
reg's 20 feet.
20 feet.
So if you didn't know your own company rules and you walk by some guys and they got the bottle stored 20 feet away and you're like, good job,
You'd be wrong.
you could get in trouble because you're actually not enforcing your company rules.
Right. And then, of course, being the new safety guy, a big part of that is going to be, man, you got to have some cred. So if you're walking around with thumbs up and people going, great job, and they've been there, 10 years, and they're like, wow, I actually know I'm breaking the rules, and this guy, that guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah, that's bad for you.
Right? So,
That's bad for you.
but I mean, we'll kind of get into that stuff here in a bit as well. But I think for baseline knowledge, you need some company rules and at least an understanding of the current OSHA regs.
All right, so I'll go to another knowledge you need to have if you're
What's one more thing you think
if
you
you're
should
a
need?
contractor, then the site rules.
Oh, for sure.
Because you can know your company rules well,
Yeah.
but then you're a contractor on the site, and that general, oh my goodness, do they got crazy rules?
Yep. They might be like PPE all the way on, even while like you got to have safety glasses while you're taking your lunch.
Yeah, and
Constant, 24/7.
the craziest safety rules I've ever seen were from general contractors.
Yeah,
People think OSHA's crazy. No,
generals.
general contractors got
Yeah.
crazy rules, and I'm
They'll go up
talking
there.
about not even common sense, extra safe, best practice rules. I'm just talking about out there rules.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about some. I think we talked about some on the last podcast where we'd run into some of the craziest rules we'd ever run into, and they are definitely from general contractors.
So if you're really good at your company rules and you know you're following to a T, you could still get busted by a safety person on a site because you're not following the site rules.
Yep.
So let me give a couple examples of that. There was a contractor in town that was making a general contractor that was making all the contractors on their site wear orange tipped gloves.
Orange tipped.
Orange tipped.
Not that the whole glove had to be.
If you
orange.
didn't have orange tipped fingers, you're in trouble.
Oh snap!
You're a safety rebel. We need to bury you.
Safety pirate.
They said that every time someone operates a boom or scissor lift,
Okay.
they needed a spotter,
No matter what.
no matter what. And everybody on the site has to wear the green safety. I think it's called chartreuse.
Chartreuse. Yeah, that neon green,
But the aerial lift spotter has to wear orange.
so that you could pick him out.
So not only do you need a spotter, but they have to wear an orange vest and they have to have orange flags.
Man, that would so mess with me because I automatically went and bought that level 2 safety vest, which is chartreuse and orange.
Yeah, so
So
if
right
you
out,
if
couldn't
they're
wear
like,
that.
"Hey, AJ, spot me real quick," and you just kept your regular vest on, you would have gotten trouble on that site.
Right.
So
Listen,
those I could go on and on all day long about how these contractors make up these
Yeah.
rules that aren't OSHA,
No.
nowhere near the OSHA regs.
Uh-uh.
They're not your company's rules, but they're the site's rules. So if you want to do a good job as safety and you got a crew on a site, besides knowing your company rules, you should learn the general contractors' rules for the subcontractors.
And my advice for any of you, budding, fresh, or even maybe just a safety person that hasn't been doing it for too long, but I do doing safety like close and personal with a company, go to those sites and take those orientations.
Yeah.
Your employees have sat through them, and I guarantee they've just been on their phone or
Yep.
they just tuned out or took a nap or whatever. And then you're going to be walking through that site, and you won't necessarily know what to tell them what to do better. You might be congratulating them on a job well done, and they've screwed up like 20 things.
They're breaking several rules.
Yeah, so take those orientations.
And those the good general contractors also give out a subcontractor
Like a packet.
safety rule handbook type
Yeah.
of thing, and you got to read that.
I've been getting them in email lately.
Okay, well that's better. Yeah, because just like AJ said, if the boss man says go check on this crew, we can't afford any mess ups.
Yep.
And you don't even know what you're looking for.
Right.
You only know your company rules or the OSHA rules. You really can't go check up on that crew good.
Right. And whether it's an actual construction site or maybe you're visiting a plant,
Yeah.
both of those things are going to have some sort of orientation.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So, another set of rules we already talked about is OSHA,
OSHA,
state and federal.
we all know.
But we should differentiate those
Okay. I mean, it's important.
because say your crew got a job in California.
Oh.
Because it's happened. We have companies here in town that crews work
Right.
coast to coast.
You get
For
asked
real.
to go out, and at first
one
you're like,
one
"Sweet, visiting
contractor got a
California."
job in Hawaii.
Right?
Yeah, for real.
Heck yeah.
They
There you
got they got a job in Hawaii.
So it's like, oh, sweet, where are
Temporary
you going
job,
for
like
work?
a 1 month job. Yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah, Sioux City guys got a Hawaii job site for a month. So that's awesome. But let's say your crew got a really killer job in California, and you're at part of the planning meetings, and they go, all right, safety, it's your turn. Say something smart to us that we don't already know. You're lucky we even let you in this meeting, you dork. You know?
You dork. Thanks.
Well, that's how
Thanks,
a lot
guys.
of times they treat safety, you know. But anyway, so then you're like, all right, well, for your bid, why don't you go ahead and add another 20 grand in there? So we make sure we make money, don't go in the hole. They go, what? Blah, blah, we'll never get a job. Well, I read the rules, and it's in California, so they got this rule, and this rule, and this rule, and this rule, and that rule is going to cost us this much to follow. That
Right.
rule is going to cost us this much to follow. That rule is going to cost this much in equipment that we don't have, so we got to buy that.
Right.
So if you don't want to get kicked off the first day on the job in California, we need this money to buy this stuff, do this training, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And if they listen to you, cool.
Right.
You get the equipment, you train on those rules that are going to be insane. Everything you
yeah.
know about OSHA, throw it away.
You will be the person that just saved the day. But also, yeah, Cal OSHA is it's an animal, and
As-
it's its own animal.
As a state, they took the federal rule book and threw it out and rewrote their own, made it 2-3 times as thick.
Yeah, and it's
They-
it's all under Cal.
they
OSHA.
took every-
It's absurd.
Number and made it worse,
Mm-hmm.
like harder to follow, more strict.
Yeah, the writing is worse, and the rules are strict. They're bigger.
But we bring that up because you could be like, man, I really got federal OSHA down. I
Yeah.
work in Iowa,
Ready to go.
which didn't really go above and beyond the federal regs.
No, they don't change it. Here
I
much.
work in South Dakota. I work in Nebraska. It's all Fed states. I got OSHA down. I got OSHA down. I got OSHA down.
Till you go to Cal OSHA.
Yeah. Or Minnesota, which is probably more probable.
Could be.
Now, Minnesota didn't go as far as California, but they did add a ton of rules that aren't in federal.
And it's not that far.
And I don't know what we're up to now. I think it's about 26 states-ish that have chosen to run and got approval from the federal government to run their own state run OSHA. And when they get approval from the federal government to run their own state OSHA, they have the leeway to exceed the federal OSHA regs. They can't underdo them, but they could overdo them, and many of them do. You just looked it up,
Just looked
22?
it up. It says 22.
It used to be 26. I guess 4 states said, forget all this mess.
Yeah, I get or that, or the feds have come in, because remember that's always there. That
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bullet point saying if you ever go under the federal
Or
standard.
if you're just not running it right,
Yeah.
they'll take
They'll
that
come and they'll take it.
away. That I don't know if it's a right or a privilege, but they'll take that away
There's
from
a
you.
bunch mismanagement
Yeah.
and like low citations. Like there's a bunch of stuff. You really got to be pushing to keep a state program.
So I mean, so far to recap, if you're a safety person, know your own rules, your own
Yes.
company rules. That's obvious, right?
Right?
Any site your folks are working on, know them site rules. If it's a plants or a general contractors,
Or if it's your site,
yeah,
maybe you're the general.
know the state and federal regulations
Yep.
for OSHA.
And know where your guys are traveling. Just because we're Iowa, yeah, they go work up in Minnesota could be different.
And then another one I want to bring up is something that everybody forgets, and OSHA could totally slam you on:
Oh yeah,
manufacturer rules.
every time. Oh my gosh.
You know, and people are surprised. Nobody reads the manual to anything.
No.
But if and a lot of times the manual wouldn't come with something. Think about an adjustable wrench.
Okay.
Manual doesn't come with that in the store.
No.
But you could go online if it's a reputable company and probably find some kind of manual on
Yeah,
there.
probably.
And that manual could say never use as an impact to drive a nail or whatever.
Right.
And if OSHA catches you using that wrench or that screwdriver as a chisel or anything like that, or a ladder as a bridge,
Right.
you know, and maybe it's not addressed in the OSHA regs. Maybe it's not addressed in your company rules, the site rules, the state OSHA rules, the federal OSHA rules, but it's addressed in the manufacturer rules. And OSHA catches you breaking manufacturer rules, they can still cite you.
And the one that I see all the time, and I'll point this out to people because of how common this one is just on the side of almost any new ladder I've found. Anyone. It'll say that when climbing a ladder, up or down, or at working at all times, you have one hand firmly grasping the ladder.
The manufacturer says that.
Manufacturer says
That's OSHA rule too. Up and down,
Up
3
and
points of
down.
contact.
up and down you
But
must.
but you had an extra one where even
Yeah.
working,
even working, and at all times.
Yeah. So that's extra.
Yeah.
That's above
It's
and beyond.
been on almost every ladder, and I've been like,
Yeah.
guys, you got to know these rules. And they're like, oh, I don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they can get you for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk about, and this could be a whole show, man. So let's
Oh, yeah.
maybe not spend a bunch of time on this next one. But as far as if I was seeking knowledge, I wanted a course of study. I wanted to get a certificate in some kind of safety professional, deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many out there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just try to name 4 or 5.
Okay.
What do you got? SJJ. Safety credentials, safety programs, safety training.
Well, good place to start is always the National Safety Council.
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge.
But what do they have for safety certificates? That's the question.
Like, well, depending on where you live, like everything. But
Let's name 5.
the good place to start is your 500 series.
Okay, get your 500, get your 501, which would authorize you to teach OSHA 10s or OSHA 30s for the general construction.
Right.
I mean,
Because it's good. It's broad.
It's
gonna give you-
basically an OSHA 30 though,
Yeah.
where the students teach it.
Yep.
And then usually some kind of admin comes in and teaches you all the rules,
Right.
course reporting rules and all that. But yeah, you're going to get knowledge in that.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And going for that is cool. Besides the credentials to teach those courses,
Mhm.
you have to be a safety person for so many years before they'll let you in. And you got to
Yeah, I
have
forgot
your
there's like that.
and you got to have your
Yeah.
OSHA
If you were brand new, you probably
510 or 511. So they're going to make you get an OSHA 30 from them basically.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if you got that would give you some knowledge.
Well, so then that also, I mean, that if we're talking like brand spanking new safety person, maybe you got 0 credentials or training or whatever, a 10 or a 30.
Yeah, I would
That's
go OSHA 30 minimum.
place to start.
like, jump in a 30. I personally wouldn't waste your time with the 10.
I wouldn't either, but
Unless the boss just told you to and they're paying for it. They're like,
Yeah.
we scheduled you for an OSHA 10 this month and an OSHA 30 next month. And you're like, but sir, the 10 isn't a prerequisite for the 30. And like, we don't care. We like wasting your time
We
and
don't
money.
care.
And you're like, okay, cool.
excellent.
Go get you 10. Go
Yeah.
get you a 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, baseline. But if you're trying to get some letters, that's kind of what I'm after.
Oh, you're like ours.
Safety
we're,
certificates.
We're specialists in safety and health,
SSH.
right?
There's a OHST. There is a ASP, a CSP, a CHSP. What's the one after
I was gonna go
SSH?
in order. Like you're like all over the board. But yeah, it's so you got your SSH, and then you got the COSHO, the CSHO,
Okay,
and then there's the SHEP,
Right.
the SHEP.
right.
then
AJ's not
there's-
cussing over there. He's saying real acronyms.
There's the certified safety. What was that? Oh crap.
Professional, CSP.
CSP, certified safety professional. And then what's the A one? The advanced. I think that's the one before SSH you could get. It's like advanced safety. It's like ASP. It's advanced safety professional
I don't know.
or something like that.
We should do a whole show on it later.
Yeah.
But the
Heck
point
yeah.
is, and that's only National Safety Council stuff.
That's just National
which is
Safety
good stuff, man,
Yep.
because they're gonna make you go through maybe 6 4-day courses, six different courses, each one 4 days. So that 4 days on one subject, we've been through several of these. 4 days on respiratory protection,
Right.
4 days on industrial hygiene, 4 days on permanent required confined space.
It's good.
I mean, like I totally, at the point in my career, had taught like confined space entry, confined space rescue, confined
Yeah.
space awareness, like for thousands of hours.
Yeah.
But I still picked up a couple things
It was. It was good.
in a 4-day course getting deep in the weeds, because you got to go deep in the weeds.
Yep.
In
So
a
they
4
were way
days
out there, and
you you can only talk so much about confined space entry in 4
In
8-hour
4
days.
days, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those are good programs to get into.
And what's
They're-
nice is then you get to like kind of micro focus on that when you come back. You're like, oh man, I just did 4 days on confined space, and then when you're back, you could be like, I have all this fresh knowledge on it. Now I can apply it.
Yeah.
And then maybe you go do another one of respiratory protection. You come back with that. You can really focus on it and practice it. The applicability becomes great.
And then you get enough of those, the right ones, then you can get a credential.
Yeah.
Like a specialist in safety and health.
Keep around
Did I
with you.
say it
then.
right, AJ?
Specialist in safety and health. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, those are good. But besides
You
those,
always forget that one.
colleges have programs too. You
Yeah.
could actually get a bachelor's in safety.
Yep.
I
know they got
assume
one
you
over
can get
here at Witt.
associates in safety. If you can get a bachelor's, I assume there's
Yeah.
associates in safety.
Probably. Well, I know there's masters, so I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they've probably got it tiered out through the whole thing.
And I'm just assuming because everything's online these days. I bet you can get it all online
You probably could while you're at work for
Yeah.
safety.
and get your job to pay for it.
Ooh,
Boom.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're looking for those things, think about all that stuff. You know, think about how long you're going to be in this career and think about 5 years from now, the jobs you want, because some of these jobs that you may want may
Yeah.
require a master's in safety
I've actually
or
seen
a
the-
CSP.
I've seen the CSP on several ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also seen it all the sudden as well say, or equivalent experience for 5 years.
Right.
Yeah. But
Master's, CSP, or 10 years on job.
But man, if you're trying to become the safety director for a big fancy plant
Right.
or like a city
Or yeah, city or town.
or like a
something.
huge general contractor, like a big one,
Right.
you know, look at those jobs you're going after. Look at what credentials they're requiring and then, you know, go for that. That's just a suggestion
Yeah.
because there's so many you could get.
Or just where you're at right now. Because if you were just plunked into safety and you're the brand spanking new safety person somewhere, go, well, what do I need here? And
Right.
try to cater it to that.
Yep. All right. And as far as knowledge, because we're still just on knowledge that a safety professional should get, there's different styles of safety out there.
Right.
And I remember being a new safety guy and going to a plant where they're all doing behavioral-based safety, and I was lost.
Well, I've
I'm
never
like-
done it. It's,
I'm like, what do I do now? Well,
It's
you got to
interesting.
collect all these observation cards from all the people, and you got to log them all into the system, and then the system spits out data and tells us how safe we are, and and,
yeah.
you know, and so I'm going around. Hey, did you fill out your observation card? What, you mean rat on your buddy card?
Yeah.
Fine, I'll do it. And they're just making up stuff. And
Yeah,
it's
they're just writing down
stupid.
random. Yeah, nobody's. Well, and it depends. Sometimes there's a decent culture in it, and sometimes
Yeah.
people
No, I've
just
seen them
hate it.
done right, and I've seen them done wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen them done right where I looked through the programs with the safety professionals run them, which were like
Mhm.
$10,000 programs.
Yeah, they're huge.
But they were like, yep, when we're doing everything right, you know, when we have high return on observations, we have lower injuries. Look, we could track that. Oh, but when our observations are sloughing off, our injuries go up. Like they could,
Yeah, you can literally see the,
You know,
the
so-
impact of the employees paying attention, their behavior
yeah.
on the safe. Yeah.
But if you're in a company that's using a program, you should probably get knowledge on that program.
Heck yeah. Learn about your program.
Yeah,
Learn how to run it.
Yeah, figure
Learn
it
the
out.
pros and cons.
Yep, definitely. And if you're in a traditional safety position where like your safety, that's it.
Which would be nice.
It is nice, but it's not nice at the same time. Like the cool thing about behavioral based is like everybody's the safety person.
Oh, I was saying it'd be nice when you said you're the safety and that's it.
Oh,
You're not
oh
the
yeah,
safety HR/maintenance.
/ quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No. But when you're in traditional safety, then it's all on you,
Yeah.
and then learn what you have to do, your job description. And
Yeah.
the sad thing is you may not be able to get answers from anybody. Hey HR, hey owner,
Right.
hey CFO, I'm here as a safety person. What do I do now? Oh, just do safety.
Yeah, that's what we hired you for. Do your job.
That's literally what I was told my first safety job. I was coming out of 10 years in the hospital working as a registered nurse.
What do I do?
I
Just do safety.
Yeah, they just assumed a nurse knew how to do safety.
Cool.
And I didn't know what safety was, so I didn't know I didn't know it. And they're like, just do safety. Do the safety thing.
Just
I had no idea what I was doing.
tell them not to die. Okay. And if they
So-
do die, make them die a little less.
I stumbled across OSHA 10s, OSHA 30s. I went and learned. I figured out stuff. I figured out employees needed actual training, so I started developing curriculum.
Oh, shoot.
Started getting trainer credentials. I figured out employees need PPE, so I started learning about PPE and how to train people on PPE. I studied the OSHA regs. I learned, oh man, people need to be certified and stuff too.
That's a lot of knowledge.
It was a big learning curve for me because I didn't know anything. So we're trying to help you not have such a difficult time.
And it can be terribly daunting.
All right, well, let's move on. That's a
Yes.
good base on knowledge. Let's talk about wisdom. Now, the difference between the two is knowledge is information, but wisdom is application. So, like, you can know, like, I'll just give you a story.
Okay.
I learned that in construction, they had to be tied off at 6 feet up. I learned that.
Okay. You got to have fall protection 6 feet.
So I'm on a construction site. I see some of our guys 18 feet in the air.
They're just floating in the middle of a construction
They're on
site.
top of a vessel that's laid horizontally.
Okay.
And it's in the middle of a field. It's an ethanol plant build. There's no building yet whatsoever. There's nothing
just
above
out
them.
there.
So they're straddling this vessel.
Okay.
Looks like a huge missile. And they're straddling this. They're 18 feet in the air. And I have knowledge from OSHA regs and company rules and site rules. Those guys have to be tied for 6 feet.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So I go up to the foreman acting big and bad.
Yeah.
Because I knew
Mr.
stuff.
Safety guy.
Yeah, evil safety guy.
He knows.
So I go, hey, Mr. Foreman, what's going on here? You got several employees up there in the air over 6 feet and they're not tied off. Don't you know if the general contractor, safety guy walks by, they're going to throw them guys off site? Don't you know if OSHA comes on site, they're going to cite each one of those, for cite the company several thousands of dollars? And this guy is normally a super hothead.
Okay.
But for that day he was
Whatever.
chill.
Okay.
And he goes, all right, safety man, how you suggest we tie off? Because as a safety person for a company,
Yeah.
you're not OSHA.
No, you have to answer questions.
Your job is not just to bust people like OSHA.
Right.
Your job is to point out what's not safe, but then guide them to practical safety.
You got to be able to solve the problem.
Yeah, and I couldn't at that point because I had knowledge but no wisdom. I
Yeah.
couldn't apply it. I knew the rule.
Right. This is the rule.
So he goes, well, what would you have us do? So I go, hold on a sec. So
I
we had
need more knowledge.
We had a job trailer. I had an office. We had a computer. We had internet. I was just searching, man, searching OSHA website, just searching, researching, reading the regs, and I came across horizontal lifelines.
There you go.
So then I studied all those specs, everything, and then I figured out. I went out there and I looked at this vessel, all the lifting eyes, lifting gears, flanges, everything, and it took me about an hour, hour and a half, and then I go, all right, man, I know what to do now. So you're shut down because you're gonna get someone killed or busted. You're shut down. Borrow me a few guys. I got you. So there was a Fastenal in that town. We went and got all the supplies. We went and built a horizontal lifeline perfect to the codes, rated for the amount of people that we needed clipped on it. They were able to tie off and still do their work.
Perfect.
But that was my lesson of just because you know stuff doesn't mean you're going to be a good safety professional.
Right. But then again, that also goes back into that cost of safety people never anticipate or take into. And if you can be a safety person that starts going, look, we're going to need some stuff,
Oh, yeah, because I probably dropped
you're going to be a hero.
$500.
Plus time.
Because just on material.
Yeah.
Because I could not buy the length I needed of the wire rope.
Mm-hmm.
I had to buy a whole spool.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not going to cut off,
No.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so how to apply the rules in real life.
Yeah.
To me, that's like the sign of a good safety person.
Yeah.
I could help you get your job done without dying or getting busted.
Yep.
I could help you live these rules without making it so difficult to work where you can't work.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to read something and go, whenever we do this, we have to do this. But then
Right.
when you're standing out in the field and, like, you're doing the first part, but the second part is not possible,
Yeah,
what do you do?
yeah.
I think it's tricky.
I've had several people raise their hand in a class while I'm teaching a safety rule and say, but for us.
Yeah.
One time I was teaching electrical safety to a bunch of power company utility workers.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like 10 feet away from power lines at all time. You can never get your boom lift within 10 feet of power lines all the time. And they're like, excuse me, we work on power lines.
Yeah. We're lying.
We have truck mounted boom lifts.
for working on power lines.
How are we supposed to do our job and never be 10,
Right.
within 10 feet of power line? And I go, in my head, I'm like, oh, snap. I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah.
I need to know the loopholes. I need to know the provisions for electrical work, because there were,
There are.
but I didn't know them at the time.
You got to shut down. You got to have visible
I'm just used to
grounding lines,
teaching regular construction workers.
Yeah.
Keep your forklift, keep your boom lift, keep your scissor lift, keep your scaffolding 10 feet away
Everything.
at minimum. I'm
Right.
just used to the speech. But then I got people who actually it's their job to work on the lines.
Like, sir, we're actually here to learn that exact part. How do we do this?
And so that was a tough class for me.
Right, yeah.
I got it down now because of me bumping my head. But again, how do you apply the rules in real life? How do you, your companies, your trade that you do, how do you get these rules fulfilled, but yet still getting them to do their job?
That adds one little extra bit to knowledge we didn't actually say. Know what your company does. Like, know what they do. That can be a huge challenge. I've actually encountered that before, where I've worked real close with a contractor for years and years and years and years and years. And then finally one day on a job site, I saw one of them using a powder actuated tool. And I was like, you guys, you need a license to operate that. They're like, what? No, I don't know. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, if you don't use them, if you barely ever use them, well, then just have another contractor, have someone with a license operate it. They're like, AJ, we use this like every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's something I need to know, so know what you do if you're going to be a safety person anywhere.
Yeah, because you can't build your training matrix or schedule of all the topics, what you're going to cover each month, if you don't know what all topics you need to cover.
Yeah, how are you going to know you need to go get trained in something to train others?
Your certification program, if you don't know what to certify them in. I was fortunate when I started that safety job. That was one thing that I did know.
Was what you did.
I did know. I didn't know what this company did.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So I told the owner, I said, all right, cool, man. I'll do safety for you, but can I go work 1 month in the field with the guys as a hand?
Well, yeah.
As a regular laborer, the freaking new guy, the FNG.
Yep.
And he was like, sure, sounds good.
The freaking new guy.
So he put me on a crew, and I was hitting the road, man.
Nice.
We were on plant roofs all the time. We were in pipe racks inside of plants all the time. I was getting to see what all they did, like in detail, like because I was actually doing it.
So you weren't just a science safety person, and then you just didn't go sit in an office. Because
that's
like, honestly, you're not going to learn anything.
No, I was a grunt, man. I had to like do all the grunt work.
Spend your time out there with them.
But I knew what they did, though. And so then when we're in class, though, and I'm teaching, like, fall protection, I'm like, you know how when you're on the edge of the plant roof and you got to pull up materials from the ground, like, and that parapet wall doesn't go as high as a guardrail? Like, you need to be tied off at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I could teach fall protection in a relevant, pertinent way.
Well, yeah.
Because, like, and I also knew all the bad stuff they did, because I'm like, you know how you do this during this time? Like, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
That's not right. This is 5 ways you could die and 5 ways you can get busted.
So
but
this is how you got to do it from now on.
Yeah, without knowing that, though, I would have just been a boilerplate safety guy regurgitating slides to people, and just that's not, the way to go. You definitely don't want that. All right, so let's talk about support real quick, because support's a big deal, man, because everybody hates a safety guy.
A company support's hard to come by when you're the safety guy.
Now, you may have a different experience, but
or gal.
In a lot of my experience, the guys hate the safety guy.
Yeah.
The foreman hate the safety guy.
That's why we're the evil safety guy.
The superintendent hates the safety guy.
Yeah.
The project manager hates the safety guy.
Probably hates the super.
The owner hates the safety guy. The safety guy is going against everybody's goal of production and speed. And here comes this high and mighty, know-it-all, fancy, self-righteous safety guy, goody two-shoes, saying, no, you need a hard hat. No, put on your face shield.
Right.
Better tie off. And we're like,
shut
up, we're tough guys, and we have a job to do, and we have a time to do it in. So support's a big deal.
It's really tough.
I heard somebody say one time they had just got back from some kind of class on safety culture.
Mm-hmm.
And they were taught that, it takes 2 to 3 years to change the culture of a company.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know the exact, studies that was done on that, but I could definitely see how it takes time.
Yeah.
You're not just going to, even if you knew everything we've talked about so far and you had a plan, you saw where the company lacked, where they need to go, and you're like, I got a plan to get you there. It's not happening overnight.
No, for sure not.
I remember when I went to my first OSHA 30. And
like in attendance?
Yeah.
You attended your first OSHA 30?
I was the new safety guy who didn't know nothing. I went to an OSHA 30, and I had, I don't know, 10 pages of notes.
Nice.
Oh, we're doing this wrong. We're doing this wrong. Oh, we go into those all the time. Those are actually confined spaces. Like eyes opening.
Yep.
You know, I was like, whoa. Like I was kind of like a little freaked out.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know all the rules we were breaking. And now I know we're breaking a ton of rules.
Yep.
We have so much risk, so much liability, so much potential for injury.
I've done that to a couple people.
Oh, no. So then I get back from my OSHA 30. I schedule a meeting with the owner, and I start reading my list. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do this. We got to do that. Did you know we're doing this and how wrong it is? Blah, 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 blah. He said, you better slow up before you get fired. I was like, what?
What?
He's like, you can't make all them changes like right now. Like, you need to come up with a plan. You need to prioritize these, and we need to chip away at these.
Yep.
Like
Piece
you're
by
gonna,
piece, man.
like he had some wisdom. Like that's not what I wanted here. And some of the listening audience like, how dare he? But it's wisdom. I mean, you gotta prioritize for the most probability and severity.
Yep.
And you gotta start tackling one thing at a time. And if you came up with 100 item punch list, man, if you got that done in 6 months to a year, that'd be awesome. I mean, these big ticket items, everybody confined space training, that's not happening tomorrow.
I mean, you could.
Yeah, you know, depending on the size of the company and your schedule and all that. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more likely it's not happening tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, you have to have support to make all the changes. So
Right.
let's talk about who you need to get support for in order to be an effective safety person.
Ownership of the company is a huge one. If you got the people with the money backing you, that is crazy important. But even just right down to, you know, each individual person. So you kind of start at the top. If you can win them over, that'd be great. And then maybe department heads. You know, people who are, you know, they're going to be bidding jobs. They're going to be getting out to work. Or maybe if you're general industry, these are the people that are going to be looking over areas, you know, lines or whatever. And you want them on your side so that you can get their assistance for when you got to start going down to the middle management. And then your middle management, in my opinion, that's where your swing really hits. If you don't get those guys, you're never going to get the lowest. You're not going to get the grunts. You're not going to get the regular employees to help or listen if you can't get middle management.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. You got to get the highest up, upper management, you know.
If they're backing you, telling you.
Because it can run downhill. You know, if you're like, hey, CEO, COO, whatever, owner, it's imperative we do this.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm on board, AJ. I don't want us to die. I don't want us to get busted. Tell me what you need. And then they could get on the superintendents.
Yeah.
Or they can, well, let me go to a normal structure that I'm familiar with. They can go to the project manager. Project manager go to the superintendent. Superintendent get on the foreman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but me telling a superintendent, you know, they're like, whatever, loser.
Right.
You know, me telling a project manager, like, whatever, loser. You know.
But those are the people you are honestly, as safety, you're probably going to see them more.
But when the owner
if they're backing
tells
you.
them,
Yep.
we need to do this, then it's going to be done.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, I agree. And then I also agree with the I don't know, I can't remember the term you used, but you know, in the construction world, like a foreman, or maybe in the general industry, like a line manager.
Yeah, I would say middle
like,
management.
yeah.
That goes for both
Because
sides.
you know, owner, superintendent, project manager aren't on the site at all times.
No, but you probably will be.
And the safety person's not on the site at all times.
Well, a site, maybe not the site.
I mean,
depending. Like
yeah,
if you're
I mean,
general industry.
yeah, if you're at general industry, yeah, you could do a walkthrough every day.
Yeah.
But if you're in construction and you got 10 different jobs going on at once,
Right, you'll be hopping around.
maybe if you're on it, you could hit every job in a week.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not on each job all the time. There's no way. So who's going to enforce safety?
You need that middle management
Yeah,
support.
you need that foreman to be completely on board with it because they're boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And I get so much negative feedback from them. Well, I can't enforce those rules. I got to work with these guys. They all hate me. What would you say to that if you had a foreman say, I can't do this?
I don't know. That'd be weird. I've dealt with a lot of foremen, and I guess none of them have ever come off as somebody who'd be worried about their guys not liking them.
Well, I agree with you, but I have had them say that to me.
I guess, yeah.
Many times.
If one of them just came off and was like, I can't do that, they'll all hate me.
But,
I'd be like, well, it's better than them being dead.
well, no, that's a good answer. But I think your first answer was good. they're used to getting on the guys.
They're used to it.
They're always like, who welded this?
Yeah.
Grind that off and redo
A
that.
good foreman.
Who did this? Who did that?
Yeah.
You were supposed to make that 4 foot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, they're always like correcting,
They got their boot in it.
riding them, on them,
Yep.
making them redo stuff. Like that's their job, right?
Yeah, they're used to it.
So they're already like managing and telling them what to do, what
Yep.
not to do, and how to do it. So we're just trying to get them to do that with safety. Hey, where's your hard hat? Hey, where's your safety glasses?
Right.
Hey, tie off. You know, we're just trying to get them to add that safety stuff because they're already doing all that other stuff.
Right.
But, you know, I've heard it's not my job.
The word I use that seems to have the biggest impact is respect.
Okay.
I'm like, look, you know, I know you work for this company, I know you respect this company. A big part of respecting the company is looking like you're an intelligent person, looking like you're a respectable person. A respectable person is going to follow the rules and not want people to die. And they're like, well, I do respect this company. I respect the daylights. I respect this company more than you could possibly ever love anything in your life. And I'm like, well, then wear a hard hat. And he's like, oh, I mean, I guess. I'm like, tell your guys to wear their hard hats. Oh, tell them to respect the name on that shirt that they wear every
Yeah.
day. And like that, for whatever reason, that really, really hits home. It drives. It works
That's
well.
cool. It's good to have tricks like that.
Well, yeah, respect is, I think respect goes a long way. And getting them on board on your side, helping you with safety is big.
My trick is just being cool with them and giving them respect, understanding that the challenges they have. And then
Yeah.
one of my other tricks is making sure that it came from their top and told them,
Yeah.
hey, you better do safety from now on. Do whatever Aaron says. You know,
Right.
you got to back him up. You know, the days of free willie's over. You know, we got to toe this line now. You know, we got to.
The days of free Willie's over. What?
We got to be safe from now on. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because they're boots on the ground, they're the one day in, day out. If the foreman is enforcing safety,
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome. It's actually going to make your job, my job, hard to go do an inspection and find something wrong because the foreman's on them.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, that's all the time we have today.
Oh,
and
snap.
we got like a quarter through of material, so I think this is going to have to be a 2-3 part series.
Yeah. Part 2. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, for Mr. AJ Hanscom and Aaron Icino, the evil safety dudes, we are out. We are signing off. And as always, stay safe out there.